Welcome to Talking TSM, the Game House's talk show about TSM's LCS team. I'm Robert Haynes, your host and your guide into the world of... God, still dealing with this cold. TSM, the LCS team. Yeah, sorry. I think I have allergies at this point, guys. You know, I don't know. It's only in the mornings and at nights that I feel like this. Otherwise, I feel pretty good. So, yeah. Hopefully I won't have as many bodily guttural noises as I normally do. But either way, I'd like to remind you that we do have a new affiliate status with DX Racer. You can go to DX Racer, go buy yourself a new gaming chair. Super comfortable, super popular, and a lot of great designs. So go DX Racer, get your next chair using TGH10 to get yourself 10% off of your purchase. You're welcome. I'm just kidding. It would be a thank you from me. And if you do that, let me know. Post it on Twitter. Let us know. I would love to see what's going on there because, we want to establish a good relationship with DX Racer so that we can do cooler things with them in the future. But, we don't need to talk sponsors and affiliates and all that jazz. What we're here to talk about is what I'm going to call a trap week, which I've used the word trap week in the past, and I don't think I've done a very good job at explaining what that means. What you can do is you can think about it like if you're a Star Wars nerd like me. It's a trap, right? And it really is. It means that we're walking into a week that, especially at the beginning of this week, should be is the operative word. Knocking on wood now. Should be an easy week. That said, there's nothing that gives me confidence that this will be an easy week. And it has nothing to do with the boys of TSM necessarily, or the coaching staff. It's just one of those times. Because, listen, we're not the team that's going to win every single game no matter what all the time, right? We're going to have games that we throw. We're going to have games that we have bad drafts in. We're going to have games that we don't play like we would like to in. And that happens. We saw it last week. We've seen it in weeks past. I can see it happening in this week. So, I'm looking at this, right? And I'm seeing that we have CLG, Golden Guardians, and then 100 Thieves. And for the longest time, literally, when I say the longest time, for the last 2 days, I've been thinking about this show, and I'm like, should I just do a full-on, really only talk about 100 Thieves because that's the game that matters, right? In my mind, I'm wondering, is that the right decision to make? And I have come to tell you that no, it is not. Because of the trap week. Because of the two games against CLG and Golden Guardians. Two teams that are currently in 8th and 10th, or technically 9th and 10th, because CLG are tied for 9th, and they are on a 6-game losing streak. And Golden Guardians are on a 2-game losing streak. Those games should be cakewalks for us. Should be. But they never are. They never are with a team like TSM, where they can go out and last week embarrass Cloud9. I mean, truly probably make them questioning a lot of what's going on this summer. But then they'll go and they'll lose to Golden Guardians or FlyQuest specifically. More specifically FlyQuest, because I think, spoiler alert, my power rankings are coming out today, and I can tell you right now, Golden Guardians are not at the bottom of those power rankings. Just saying. All right. Anyways, let's just get into the first game. We'll talk about the rest of this later. So, CLG, 3 keys to victory for TSM. Number 1 is to prepare for their patented dive comp, but also just expect them not to play it. Which sounds really counterintuitive, but I can assure you I thought a lot about this one. The dive comp is what they have been doing. They were the last team actually to beat 100 Thieves almost exactly 3 weeks ago. And the thing is that CLG played something that really threw off 100 Thieves. And they played this dive comp that then they went 3-0, and everything was looking hunky-dory for them. Everybody's like, oh, crap, like, they're 4-5 now on the summer. You know, at that time, they were 9-19, which is terrible. But, you know, they were on their way up, which is what everybody expects from this team of veterans. Now they've lost 6 straight. They can't pull out a win. This comp is clearly not working for them, and teams are beating them with it. Now they have not played TSM with this comp. And so that's where I start to think, okay, which I don't think so. Let me make sure. I don't want to say that definitively. Yeah, no, they haven't played TSM with this comp yet. Okay? And, you know, there's something to be said about, you know, us prepping for this dive comp. Like, it's not like it's hard to prep for a dive comp. But, you know, everybody knows that it could be coming. And so I think CLG at this point are like, all right, we've got to find something new to bring out. We've got to find some new cheese, because I think that they are desperate enough right now to, which that'll be part of point 2, but they're desperate enough right now to try to cheese their way into playoffs, because I think that that's just their ultimate goal, at least for their egos, because I think a lot of them know that this is probably their last shot. When you look at them statistically, they're one of the worst teams in the LCS. They aren't playing poorly, but they're not playing well. Their communication's off. They're dying a lot. You know, they're just struggling in closing out and finishing games and playing like a team that has, you know, any sort of continuity. Which is crazy, because Finn hasn't really been that bad. Brox hasn't been terrible. And, you know, for the first couple weeks before either of them were able to come in, Pobelter, Wild Turtle, and Smoothie actually looked pretty good in the spring at times. But now this team, for some reason, cannot figure out a way to win games. And again, this might be the last that we see of our old friend Smoothie, of our old friend Wild Turtle. I wouldn't be surprised to see him retire after this. Could see Pobelter going into coaching. Could see Broxa heading back to EU. Could even see Finn heading into EU. Although if I'm CLG, I'm building my team around Finn for the future, because he's still very, very young. And so, you know, this is a team that will cheese And there's not going to be anything that you can prepare for with it. But our key to the game, the first one, is still that they need to prepare for that dive comp. Just be ready. You don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but just have been preparing for it, hopefully. But also know that it's pretty unlikely that they're going to play it. They're going to probably try to pull some other cheese out, and we need to just kind of roll with the punches at that point. So that's number one. The second one is, and I said this before, they're desperate. They are a desperate team, and they are going to try and make wacky plays. They're going to try for weird ganks. They're going to try for, TP flanks at unusual times. They're going to, try to set up kill rushes, if they get down early. Or even if they don't. I expect a level 1 play out of them. This team has made it very clear. Brox has made it very clear on social media. They want to win. They cannot figure out why they're not winning. I can't say I've studied CLG games lately. I do watch a lot of LCS games as a whole, but I can't really tell you. It seems like normally 1 or 2 fights go wrong and then they're pretty much just done and they kind of stop doing anything. But this team is desperate, guys. They want to make playoffs. That is their ultimate goal. And they are now only 1 game up on Golden Guardians. FlyQuest look like they are in a permanent downward spiral. So their whole goal right now is just stave off Golden Guardians for as long as they possibly can. And so when I look at this team, I see desperation. And when, the old saying of, when you have a starving dog backed into the corner, which I would obviously never do this. I don't even like that analogy personally. But when you have this starving dog backed into a corner, they will lash out. They are dangerous still. And so TSM have to take them seriously. They still need to mentally prepare not only for this dive comp or this weird stuff that, could come out of the comp, but also this weird style of play. Expect the unexpected kind of a thing. And I think if they can do that, that will allow them to, not get caught off guard completely by what's going to happen. If this team is desperate and that they're going to do everything possible to win, like most teams do, but in more of a they're going to take those 20% chances, whereas most teams when they're they're in a bad spot, but they're not this desperate, they'll take that 40% chance, right? Or maybe that 50-50. Those are considered things that you don't necessarily want to take, especially when you're a good team or when you're winning. This team will take that 20-25%, even probably 10% probability that they come out on top if they have to. And so TSM need to mentally, and I do mean mentally, prepare for that. Because these are often the most dangerous teams, are the ones that have nothing, well, they've got everything to lose, and they're not willing to give it up easily. I mean, seriously, guys, these next 4 weeks are probably career-defining for the CLG members, outside of probably Finn and maybe Broxa. Pobelter, Wild Turtle, and Smoothies, potentially their entire careers are predicated on their performances over the next 4 weeks. Because the LCS is not just a place that's going to sign random veterans anymore. You can see the youth movement is coming in. FlyQuest started struggling, bam. All new team. All the young kids. Golden Guardians are on their way up. Immortals have younger players, semi. Dignitas is, we'll have to figure that one out. But the top 5 teams, Evil Geniuses, Team Liquid, Cloud9, TSM, 100 Thieves, they're all mostly young. They're all finding success. This is not a good time for CLG. Last thing, in the third key, I want to see Spica be active. Don't give them an opportunity to get an early lead, because you know they're going to try. You know they're going to try to make plays. And if Spica does that thing where he occasionally does, where it's like, oh, my lanes are losing, I'm not going to try anything because I don't want to die. Or I don't want to snowball the game out of control and we'll try to make a play later. Like, no, dude. This team's bad. Just go beat them. Go get in their lanes. Go punish their mistakes, because they still make them, clearly. And our late game is 10 times better than theirs. I mean, potentially, literally 10 times better. So if that's the case, then you get an early lead, and it's a 25-minute game. Big-time dubs, game over. So I want to see him making plays. I want to see him in the top lane, in the mid lane, in the bot lane. I don't want to see him just farming. I want to see him invading the enemy jungle, taking their camps, making fights happen where they may not expect it. Spica is such a catalyst for us. It feels like since he's been here, it's been that way. And he alone could keep this game from being a trap game. Not to put all the pressure on him, because everybody else can too. But there's one player who could literally just control the game, because Brox is gonna try to make moves, and if you put him down early, if you make it so he's got to start making these desperate plays that we talked about, then you're in a good spot. So let's go see Spica be active early. Excuse me. Here are the champions to watch for. Vi. If they are going to play that dive comp, Vi is quite important for it. I think that there's a good probability that they would play it. You know, if they're going to go dive, that's the signal. Vi is the signal for it. That's where Broxa has found success. That's where CLG have found success. That's who you should be watching for. It's still unlikely, though. Again, I really don't think they're going to try this dive comp again. But hey, they haven't tried against TSM, so why not? Excuse me. Azir and Orianna, I think, are great picks for TSM for multiple reasons. Not only is PoE obviously like one of the best Azir or Oriannas, you know, either one of them in the entire LCS, but they're also great for dive comps, or for aggressive comps, I should say. Not even just straight up dive, but comps that are going to try to be aggressive, which is definitely something CLG will try to do more than likely. So having an Orianna to, you know, ult people away or slow them, you know, having the Azir to just push them away with his ultimate, and you still have great late game scaling. I think those are good champions for TSM. Kai'Sa is one I'd like to see. I think that's a great champion into Wild Turtle and Smoothie. You know, they do make plenty of mistakes on their own. I think you can be aggressive with them. Obviously, we've seen Lost, you know, have a lot of success on the Kai'Sa. So I would love to see that as a pick for them. You know, she's coming back into the meta, it seems like, or is at least good enough to be picked without it being like a total troll. I think it could be nice. Hate to say this, but Gragas, you know, tank Gragas, I will again specify, another great champion for dive comps or aggressive comps. You know, I think honest to God, I think if TSM pick, you know, something like Orianna, Kai'Sa, Gragas, along with, you know, something tanky in the bot lane and like a Xin Zhao or something, I think that's a great comp for them against CLG. But Gragas would have to be tanky, period. You have AP and Azir Orianna. You don't need to worry about, you know, going AP with Gragas. And the last one, and this one's real. It's not the obligatory Galio, but it's the real Galio. I do think Galio would work very well into this team. I think it has worked well into this team. Teams have counterpicked it or banned it because it is kind of an important part of the CLG comp. I personally just think it's a great choice, you know, because, again, a lot of peel, a lot of, you know, the shield is really nice, being able to jump into fights when something goes wrong, being able to just, you know, abruptly end a flank by another team or another, you know, member of the team, of said team. I think those are really important things, and I would like to see TSM kind of prepare for that. So, yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I'm predicting a CLG win. I think that's going to look close, between minutes like maybe 10 and 16. I think they'll make some plays, but I think ultimately we'll come out on top by, the 30-minute mark. So, yeah, I think this will be a win and move us, 24-10. That would be awesome. Now we head into Golden Guardians. In case you missed it, Golden Guardians either traded for or bought out and extended Licorice from FlyQuest. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. Heck of a move, in my opinion. I think Golden Guardians are actually doing this whole rebuild thing because they are truly a team that is rebuilding. They sold FBI, they sold Closer, they got rid of their entire team, including DeMonte, who the whole gang essentially from last year's playoff team. And they are restarting with a Blaze Olive as their main guy right now, it would seem. And now they've got, they get Licorice in the top lane. So you have somebody, and I think Licorice is going to be a good coach, potentially even for Niles, who they still see. He is still an amateur, hopefully figuring things out. I want to see him succeed. But more importantly, this team is not that bad right now, and that's key number one. You cannot take it for granted that this team is going to lose. They're 5-10 this summer, which for us is obviously like, well, I mean, we're 11-4. Who cares? But no, they're playing well. They're not a bad team anymore. And while they have a hell of a schedule this week, by the way, they've got 100 Thieves, TSM, us, and Team Liquid, all three playoff teams. And that they are looking to establish themselves now. And Licorice is a good player. I don't know why it didn't work on FlyQuest. It seemed like it hadn't worked from the start. FlyQuest are another team like CLG that have plenty of talent on it, but things didn't work out. When I look at Golden Guardians, I see a Blaze Olive, I see Chime, I see Iconic. Those are three pretty solid young players. I don't know as much about Iconic, but I certainly am confident that Chime and Blaze Olive, more specifically, are going to be very good players in the LCS for a long time to come. And when you pair that with the mind of Licorice, who, he's been to Worlds, he's won a championship, he's been to multiple championships, he's a, perennial playoff contender. This is such a good move for them. And it's nothing against Solo, by the way. Solo's not a bad player either, but this is a team that is making moves to try to make playoffs. They are one game back right now. And even if they have this hellish week where they go 0-3, it's pretty likely that CLG or FlyQuest will too. I mean, they play each other, so I guess that's impossible. One of them will win a game this weekend. But regardless, when you look at their schedule going forward, they still have actually a pretty tough time. Whew. Maybe getting Licorice at this time was right. Either way, from what it sounds like, they really wanted Licorice. And so they've picked him up now. And this is no longer a bad team. This is like a middle-of-the-road team. If I had to just do it based on pure talent, I would say they're better than FlyQuest, CLG, Dignitas, and possibly Immortals. So, that would place them at 6th place right now, based on what they have currently. And so, for TSM to win this game, you have to prep for them seriously, even with a brand new member. Licorice will find a way to make himself useful. He's going to be more excited to play now that he has been moved on, because it was clear he was not happy on FlyQuest. He was not finding success on FlyQuest. That team was on a 10-game losing streak. He even got replaced by Kumo. And so now Golden Guardians are trying to make a run. And I think that I legitimately think they have a very good shot at making the playoffs at this point, even with their hellacious schedule that they have for the rest of the year, specifically over the next couple weeks, where I believe 5 of their 6 games will be against the top 5 teams. But hey, if you want to make playoffs, you got to be able to beat some of those teams, and they have. They've beaten 100 Thieves. They've beaten Cloud9. Have they beaten TL? No, they've not beaten TL or TSM yet. Those are the two top teams they've not found success against yet. But everybody else should be afraid of them. And I think we have to take them seriously too. This is why I'm calling this a trap week, because we talk about CLG, they're desperate, right? But on the flip side here, you've got Golden Guardians who are confident. They understand that this team is trying to make moves. They're trying to get better. They are prepared to find success right now. And a win over TSM would do a lot for this team. And so that they are circling this as one of their games this weekend, which I think they're probably more circling the TL game. But, they're going to have 100 Thieves first. Then they get us. Then they have TL. Like, this is a very important week for them. And so they're grinding. They are prepping hard because they just got Licorice. They've just probably got him over to their facility yesterday, maybe the day before. Right, and that they're grinding out, styles. Like Iconic's probably working with him on trying to, figure things out. Chime is trying to implement him into their strategies. Ablaze Olive's like, hell yes, build this team around me. And 6A is just a calming voice. He's not great by any means. I still think he's probably one of the worst, if not the worst, 80 carry. But he's solid. He's not gonna throw games for you. He's probably not gonna win any games for you, but he's not gonna lose them either. So, this is just a team we cannot take for granted. I cannot express this enough. So that's point number one. Number two is give Power of Evil the counter pick. Not that he needs it against a Blaze Olive, but a Blaze Olive, especially with a new jungler, without having solo there, to potentially be a backup carry, against 6A is not as much of one right now. A Blaze Olive is their guy. Okay, and when you have a team that you want to make sure you beat, you try to attack their one point of strength to take it out. And so I think that giving Power of Evil counterpick, again, not because he should be afraid of Blaze Olive. He should be able to beat a Blaze Olive, any day of the week with any champion, essentially, unless if it's something completely unplayable. So sorry, verbiage. With that in mind, you want to make sure that you force a Blaze Olive into the dirt. Just pick on him. Give PoE a counter pick and then have Spica gank. And have Sword Art gank. And have Huni gank. Put him so far behind that there's nothing that this team can do right now. Because he will carry. A Blaze Olive is an up-and-coming kid that's going to be very good. Especially with a better team around him. But for us, while we are definitively better, and we probably will be in the future too, but you get what I'm saying. While we are currently 100% the better team than them, attack their one point of strength, put it down in the dirt, walk your way to a win. My last thing here, third point, is let's take advantage of the lane 2v2. Chime is still young. While I do think he shows a lot of aggression, a lot of playmaking ability, honestly. And 6A again is very smart. He's very cerebral. He's still able to play the game, not at a high level, but play it well. I want us to let Sword Art play something aggressive and do what he did last week. You don't need help from Spico or Huni or Power of Evil, in my opinion. I just don't think you need it. Instead, I think you just push forward and allow Sword Art to really become that guy. We'll have to see. Again, I am hopeful. But I think that what we saw last week might be what we're actually going to be able to get from Sword Art and Lost on a more regular basis. All right. Here are my champions to watch for. First one, Silas. Guys, they play Silas. Shocker, I know. Big time shocker. But they do play Silas. And, giving that to a Blaze Olive, I think, is a huge mistake, personally. I think it could be a massive problem and a massive mistake. So let's just not let it happen. Any AD mid laner, they've been mostly playing AD. I know I just said Silas, but they've mostly been playing AD mid laners for a Blaze Olive. He's finding a lot of success on those. I think we should just prep for him. I think you can see things like the Viegos, the Lee Sins, I think the Lucians. I think those are definitely possible. And there's something that I would prefer that we, don't see. So, but I think they're going to pick it, and we got to prepare for it. So that's how I'm looking at it right now. Gwen, I think Licorice will play her. We keep banning her. I wouldn't mind if we saw her in this game from Huni. I think that could be interesting, but Licorice will bring her out. He's very comfortable on her. He's also found success on her. I think we either ban her or I'd really like to pick her, but I think we'll probably just continue to ban her. Leona Nautilus, again, let Sword Art play something aggressive. These are two champions that are in the meta that he's found a lot of success with, that he's been playing very well. I'd prefer not to see Alistar against this team, but Leona Nautilus, those hooks, I think, allow you sometimes to escape some potential dangerous situations. And there could be some against Golden Guardians because our games have not always been clean against them. So, yeah, let's see that one. Last one's Viego. I think it's going to be, a pick that a Blaze Olive could pick, but I would like to see Power Vivo play it, especially if a Blaze Olive plays something that is going to be an AD champion. I think Viego's a nice counter, or at least able to go even. It allows him to be a playmaker. And they can easily find a Rumble or something in the jungle to allow for TSM to, still find their AP. That or I'd really like to see a Rise. I don't have it on here, but I'd love to see Huni's Rise. Like, let's bring it out here, man. Like, Rise top lane is definitely viable right now. I don't understand it. If we're going to play AD mids, let's do it. That or Diana. I guess we could play Diana too. Moving on to the most important game. Easily the most important game of the week. 100 Thieves on Sunday. Sunday. It's got to be a banger, I hope, fam. God, I hope it's a good game. Either that or I hope we just stomp them. If we're going to lose, I want it to at least have been a good game. Key number 1. So I did a lot more research on 100 Thieves than I did probably any other team in the last couple weeks, honestly. Because this has been circled in my calendar for the last 4 weeks maybe. Since the last time we played them. And they've been just rising ever since. I'm like, this is probably arguably the most important game of the season for us all year. And there's a lot of reasons why, in terms of standings, in terms of confidence, in terms of us showing that we are better than them. Hopefully. The first thing is I would love for us to continue showing something new. Some new style, some new champions, something like that, like we did against TL and C9. But I don't want us to get cute about it, okay? And what I mean by that is I don't want to, I don't want us to look at them and be like, oh, we can pull out some cheese. Like, no, I'm not talking about cheese. I'm talking about a real comp that you're going to use in the future too. But something maybe that you've been practicing in scrims, Things maybe haven't been going as well as you were hoping, but now they are starting to. You know, they're looking good. Like, that's what I want to see out of us. I'll be honest with you. I've looked around. I don't see anything, like, crazy in terms of comps that could be played. Like, I've been looking at Academy. There's nothing too nuts. I mean, you know, you could see maybe a Lysandra. You know, maybe the Ziggs bot lane, although it wouldn't be surprising to them. You know, they pulled out the Lee Sin bot lane, which was kind of crazy. It was like, you know, the Lee Sin Senna. Maybe we show something with Senna. I guess that would be it. You know, let Sword Art take over with something like that he's been doing. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm going to say. It's going to be Senna with, you know, with Lost playing on the Senna. And then give, like, a Mundo or a Lee Sin. I don't know. Set would be great. Maybe a Renekton. I don't know. Just something fun, something interesting. I would love to really see us pull something like that out. Hell, even a Yone mid lane or something like that. Like, I want to see something that TSM has been working on. The Zillion mid. There it is. That's it, actually. I want to see us pull out the Zillion mid. I know that Power of Evil's probably been working on that pick since working with Bjergsen. I know that Bjergsen probably really believes that Power of Evil could play that pick. And has been probably telling him, hey, guys, we're gearing up. Time has come. A Zillion. Here we go. I would love that. I would freaking love that. Especially against all these stupid ass stupid ass assassins. That'd be cool. I would love to see that. And this would be a great game to do it. And it wouldn't be too cute. You know, you could allow for Spica to make a lot more dives. You could, you know, let Huni kind of play like a dumbass, basically. And still revive him. This is kind of what they did with Dardoch. You know, when they were finding success there, it was play the Zillion mid. Dardoch can go make all the stupid ass plays that he wants to. Ass is kind of the word of the day, I guess. But make all those plays that he wants to, and then and then you just revive him. You keep him alive. So that's what I would like to see. Number 1. That'll be it. The second key of the game is I'd like to give Power of Evil counter pick. Zillion could be a counter pick, by the way. But I'd like to see PoE get counter pick and actually get, you know, and again, like, focus on his lane, because Abadage is at least playing like an MVP currently. Now, we got 4 weeks to prove that we deserve to let Spica, or maybe even Huni, be the MVP of the split for us. And hopefully for the LCS. So I think it's time to take Abadage and put him down a peg. Remind him that he's still brand new to this league. And allow for Power of Evil to, I think, really take over. It's not that FBI can't carry, because last split, it was you have to focus. If you focus FBI, then you win. Well, now they've got Abadage. And Sunday's playing well. I mean, this team is good, by the way. Like, I want to really quickly state this. 100 Thieves are currently the best team in the LCS. I fully believe that. And that kills me to say, obviously, as a TSM fan. But until we can beat 100 Thieves, whether it's in a best of 1 or a best of 5, they will be the best team in the LCS, and we will be a very definitive second, though. A very much like, I think it's 100 Thieves, then there's a small gap, then there's us, and I think there's a bigger gap, and it's then, you know, C9, TL, and EG. At least for right now. This is what I love about 27 games, guys. So much more opportunity for things to matter. This is good stuff. Back to it, though. The second key, though, we need Power of Evil, I think, to really be that guy in this matchup. He cannot let Abadage push him around. He has to be able to, he has to be able to, I think, find a way to put pressure on Abadage and force him, hopefully, to make a mistake. I mean, we haven't, just so you guys know, we haven't played 100 Thieves in literally a month. We last played them on June 9th. That is how long ago it was, in week 1. We're a very different team now. We are a much better team, and so are they. But they still stomped us. That wasn't on the 9th, just kidding. I'm looking at the Academy side, but I still believe that we haven't played them since week 1. Let me confirm that really quickly here. Yeah, it was on the 11th, so same week, still week 1. Yeah, we're 5 weeks into it. It's still been a month. It will literally have been a month since we played them, I believe, on our next game. Yeah. We'll play them Sunday the 11th. So we'll have been since June 11th to July 11th since we have played them. And it is time for PoE to come out and show them that this is his lane. And TSM need to just punish Abadage and put him pretty far behind. And I think that this team will fold as long as FBI doesn't get super fed. My third key, and people aren't going to like this, but I think you fall back on Drake stacking. Listen, guys, I know how much we love our team. And sometimes you just got to admit when the other team currently is a little bit better than them. A little bit. I hope I'm wrong. But I think TSM, just if they really are like, hey, if things start not going well, we have got to focus on Drake stacking. Like, I wouldn't even care if they gave up half the map to make sure that they get Dragon Soul, especially if it's something like Infernal or Ocean. If they're playing Zillion, I guess Cloud could be very good. Regardless, my point stands. It's a powerful buff. It's something that they need to make sure that they focus on, so that in the event that they start getting pummeled, maybe not even pummeled, but they start seeing that their lead is slipping away from them, that they can fall back on the Drakes and know that things are going to be all right. I mean, that's how we beat Cloud9, right? Like, yeah, we didn't have the late game comp that they did, but we took advantage of the early game. We pushed them around. They had no chance to come back because they could never get priority over objectives, specifically the soul. And so that's what I want to see a TSM do. Focus those Drake stacks. Here are our champions to watch for. Cog Lulu, I think, would be awesome. I think you have Spica, Path bot lane early in case of a gank, but I think Cog Lulu is such a nice fit that you could kind of just do whatever you want to with the rest of the team. I think you throw, Spica on something tanky maybe, or Huni on something tanky. I think you could even play the Viego in the mid lane if you wanted to, which Viego is another champion I'm watching for, because I think that could be, something very good for us. I think if you keep that Cog Lulu safe, I think it's an insurance policy that could pay off in a major way, similar to how it did against Cloud9, where it was like they were just so scared to death to go into it that there was nothing else that they could do other than just lose the game slowly. Love to see that for TSM. Karma, obviously, really the only team that's found success playing it has been 100 Thieves. I think it's still a very good pick. And obviously 100 Thieves know how to play it well. Akali, we're going to ban it, but, it's still one to watch for. We don't want to give it up. We don't want to, just because maybe we've been banning it so much, teams are going to expect it, and maybe they won't pick it. Like, nah, dude. People are going to pick it against us. They know. They're smart. Just get rid of it. Another one's Diana. If we play it, great. I think that it's a good pick for us, specifically for Spica. I think it's a really smart pick for Spica. I mean, he showed it against Immortals. It's solid for him. But I'm really afraid of Closer playing that champion. I mean, really afraid. Like, she can totally turn fights around by herself right now, and she's very strong. And so I would prefer not to see her played at a high level by, arguably one of the best junglers in the league. And the last pick, this one's going to be totally out of left field, but I was kind of looking back on some games, and like I was trying to figure out, I was like, okay, how did we find success against 100 Thieves the last times that we played them? I was looking back at the playoffs against them. And they played this. We didn't. But I thought it would be a good pick for us in Ashe. I know she's not meta right now. But I think TSM thrive on the vision game and knowing where the other team is at. And I think Ashe could be that person for us. You know, she provides a lot of slow. Obviously, she has her ultimate. She has the vision, that's able to be gained. And I think that it provides a safe enough bot lane. She's got, pretty good clear, especially when you get Runan's Hurricane. And it would allow for the rest of the team to do their thing and not put Lost in a compromising position. And he wouldn't be very easy to dive without it being 3 members or somebody, or 2 who are very fed. So you could leave him so that Sword Art could go do his thing. There's a lot of reason why I think Ashe would actually be a really good pick for TSM against 100 Thieves. And I think that being able to track Closer would be important. I think watching for Abadage, knowing where their vision's at, I don't know. I think it could be kind of like a secretly great pick. I think when you need to win a game through the macro game, because I don't know that our lanes are necessarily 100% stronger than theirs. I think like Abadage and Power Vivo are about even, maybe not as much in lane state, but as players, because I think, even though Abadage has shown to be a very good late game still, TSM are still like the best late game team in the league. So I think Power Vivo and him are kind of evening out there in that regard. You just don't want Power Vivo to get too far behind. I think Huni, when he's, playing intelligently, which is more often than not now, I think he's just as good as Someday. I think Speak is better than Closer, very much so. And I think that, where they have their biggest advantage is going to be in the bot lane. And I think if you play Ashe, it allows you to still have, you don't have to worry about Lost getting ahead. Lost is still going to be able to find value with a pick like Ashe. And so I'd like to see him play it. I think it'd be a good pick for us. I think it could be a very good pick for us. All that said, I think we are going to lose this time. I think this is going to be kind of a limit test for us. I think we're going to have a good showing, but I still think that they're just kind of on a roll right now, and I think they kind of need. I think I think they need to lose to a random team to be knocked down. I think they're too good. I think they're preparing for us very specifically this weekend. So and I say that even though I think, they have a tougher schedule. They have, GG, they have Golden Guardians and Evil Geniuses, and then us. So, they also have they have a pretty tough schedule. But I think this is if they show this, that they can beat us, they are definitely the best team in the league right now. So I am hoping that we win this game. I am okay if we lose it, as long as we play a good game and show that we are able to challenge them right now. And if we beat them, then all the better, right? Then it shows that we're the best team. But for right now, I'm going to take the chickens way out. I am going to pick us at a loss and going 2-1 this weekend. Which I don't know if I made it clear, but yeah, I think we're going to be Golden Guardians. But like I said, the whole theme of this is trap week. Trap. There is a real possibility that we could go 0-3 this weekend, by the way, guys. I know I say that, whatever, like maybe I'm just being overly cautious, but we shouldn't. We should go at least 2-1. But as I explained, CLG are dangerous. Golden Guardians are dangerous. 100 Thieves are obviously dangerous. Truthfully, I'm more scared of a backed up to the wall CLG than I am of an Immortals, a Dignitas, or an Evil Geniuses, or even a TL, to be honest with you. And I do think that Golden Guardians are just a team that I could see us losing to because randomly, why not? And then 100 Thieves are a very good team. And I think especially if we're 0-2 going into the 100 Thieves game, I think we're going to pressure ourselves too much, and I think we'll drop the game to them. Obviously, I have them dropping us the game either way, but I think it'd be a pretty ugly game in that situation. I think it's an ugly 0-3 weekend where we would need to be more concerned. But I'd love for us to win, obviously. When looking at the rest of the team, C9 and TL have pretty easy schedules. We have a pretty easy schedule, honestly, as well. But, again, it just feels like a trap week where we're going to lose these games, or at least some of them. Hell, I'll be honest with you. We could go 1-2 this weekend. And as long as we beat 100 Thieves, I'd be happy with it. Evil Geniuses have a really tough schedule. 100 Thieves also have a tough schedule. I think it's incumbent on us to stay focused this week. I think this is a very important week for us to just like, all right, guys, like this is our week. Because if we can sweep this weekend series, right? If we can get all 3 wins, we are in first place. Even if 100 Thieves win their other 2 games, yeah, we would technically be tied, but we'd have the 3-1 head-to-head advantage over them. Which I want to remind you, we want that 3-1 or 3-2. I don't care if it's a 3-2. A 3-1 guarantees us the head-to-head matchup. And that is unbelievably important. Because we want that first seed. And 100 Thieves are really probably the only team, maybe C9 with a late surge. But those are the only 2 teams that I could really see it being a problem. And we have the 3-1 over C9. So, yay. We're 1 game behind 100 Thieves. If we win this weekend against them, and if we go 3-0 and they go 2-1, then we are tied. We have the tiebreaker over them. It's a great week for us. And then week 7 will come, and we will have some relief. Because in week 7, it's FlyQuest, Immortals, and Team Liquid. All teams that I'm fairly confident that we will beat relatively easily. It doesn't mean that you take a full break, but this is the week where it's like, all right, guys, like we gotta, the last couple weeks have been this way. I think this is like the final like major week before we get a nice break in week 7. And then we have a tough week 8, and we'll lead off week 9 with 100 Thieves, and then have a nice break at the end. So really tough 3 games here. Nice three game break. Tougher week 8. Tough, beginning of week 9, but then an easy way to end it out. Gotta stay focused, fam. We're so close. We're so close to finishing the season in first for the regular season, which again matters a lot. And it'll be 45 grueling but awesome games from this team from start to finish, hopefully. All right, quick Academy and Amateur updates. Academy. They're tied with 100 Thieves Academy, who are very good. They have like at least 4 players who are LCS ready, in my opinion. And they're very young. And they're quite talented. 100 Thieves are talented from top to bottom. Literally the best organization in the LCS currently in terms of talent. And in terms of winning and losing. And in terms of a lot of things. 100 Thieves are killing it right now. Pretty sure that Abadage buyout, while probably expensive, more than likely saved a lot of jobs. And they're going to make all that money back with all the money that they make from, sending Ken V and Tenacity and all those players elsewhere. Probably not Ryoma, but Poom. all those players. So pretty cool that we went 1-1 with them. I think that's good. And it looks like TakeOver is taking over. I'm not going to apologize for that. That's how it's going to be. I don't. The thing is, I don't see TakeOver as our long-term solution, but clearly he's good enough right now. Apparently that's what matters. I still think Sword is the long-term option. I still think he's super young. You got PoE for at least another year, more than likely, hopefully. But hey, if they think that TakeOver is the guy that's going to develop into their LCS starter in 2 years, then go for it. I don't really care if Academy wins, to be completely honest with you, as long as people are making good decisions. As long as they're making good decisions, as long as they're playing well, that's all I care about. Sorry, not playing well, but playing to get better. As I said, I don't care if they win. I just want them to be learning. I want them to be getting better. Cody Sun and Hanser are clearly there as backup options just in case. Hanser is pretty much out at this point. If Lost really, really shit the bed, then maybe you see, Cody Sun. But at this point, that seems very unlikely. Amateur is bad right now. They beat Rock Tribe Esports, which was whatever, but then they lost to a team named OQ, which also should have been like a whatever kind of game. They should have made it in the top 4. They didn't. This team does not look very good. Again, they're full of 21 plus players, year-old players, which I know that it's not that old in terms of a human lifespan and in terms of most traditional sports. And really, it shouldn't be that old in terms of League of Legends. We are seeing people who are 28 and 29 find success in League of Legends nowadays. But when you are building an amateur squad, when you are building a third level, you don't want people who are any older than about the youngest age that you can possibly get, which I think is 16 on those amateur teams. So if I was building it out, I would want 16 to 18-year-olds. Again, somebody like Don Bray. Not a bunch of players who, they're getting their chance. I think that's awesome. But they're older. They haven't really been on teams before. It's very clear why. They're not finding success. They're not playing well. And I don't know that it's going to get better anytime soon. I hope so, but they're probably one of the worst amateur teams in terms of the LCS that we've seen. And there's a good chance, at least as of right now, that they don't make it into that final tournament. Not even make it into the tournament. To make it into being able to play the academy teams. That's how bad they've been playing. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope if any of you guys are listening to this, I don't dislike any of you. I like everybody who's on TSM. And I want you all to find success and have great careers. But, we've got to be critical at times too. And they're not performing right now. And when you look at it with a critical eye, and you see the ages of the players that are playing, and you think, okay, what is the goal of this? It is to create talent for the organization for the future, where they will move from the amateur league, as Parth said, to the academy league, and then eventually push for an LCS spot. You don't want players who are going to be 24 by the time that happens. Because then maybe you get 3 good years out of them. At least according to current LCS standards. I hope we see somebody play into their 30s one day. That'd be awesome. If you like this show, please take a second to like, subscribe, and comment if you're watching on our YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon so you don't miss another episode. Keep supporting this on all podcasting platforms. It means a ton to me. Also, please share this with your friends. You can find me on Twitter at TGHRobertHaynes, or you can find the Gamehouse at TGH Esports. Lastly, head to thegamehouse.com. You can check out all of our LCS content. There's a big event coming this week for League of Legends and for all of the Riot games with the Ruination, the Sentinels of Light. We've got it all updated for you right now. Go check it out. We've got NBA Finals content. We've got NHL Finals content. We'll have Fantasy Football Draft coming up. So many awesome things. If you go to the Game House, you'll be able to find it all. And with that, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. The show comes out every Monday and Thursday and is exclusively for your TSM earholes.